I wanted today's video to be about hiker safety. I invited my friend Jester on the channel to chat. Jester is a thru hiker, section hiker, podcaster, educator, and advocate for hiker safety. Her hiking experience, love for the hiking community, and outgoing personality makes her the perfect proponent for encouraging safety while on trails. She encouraged me to take my safety plan seriously through her work, and I think she'll do the same for y'all. So please welcome to the channel, Jester. Hey Jester, thanks for coming on my YouTube channel. I'm excited to talk to you about hiker safety.
Yeah, Tara, it is great to see you again, and thanks for asking me to come on.
What are some dangers a hiker, backpacker might encounter on a trail? What is the importance of hiker safety? And what do you think why don't you think some take hiker safety seriously?
One of the very first things that came to mind was weather. You're thinking about terrain, you're thinking about your footing. Am I going to have to deal with water crossings? Is there altitude that I'm going to have to deal with? Am I on a trail where I'm going to be up over 10,000 feet? Am I somewhere that I'm going to have to deal with wildlife? So those are just maybe some broad things. I mean, you could fall on a wet route and break your arm, or, hurt your back or something of that nature. So one of the things that I don't want to do is scare people when I talk about hiker safety, but for people to, have in their mind that there is a risk. The second part of that question is, what is the importance of hiker safety? It's just an awareness and being responsible. We all started somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to go into that, third question that's really part of this. And you said, why don't some hikers take it seriously? And I never took it seriously. I mean, I never thought about hiker safety until something happened. Something happened in my life, and something happened to a very close family friend of mine. And then I kind of had to take a step back.
Currently, I feel like I don't take it as seriously as I should. I've been encouraged by your Instagram page to try to do more research. Like the biggest danger I think about is getting lost on trail. There's a lot of dangers out there that we don't really think about. We think we'll always be fine, we'll always be okay and in our right mind, but that's not always the case in some of these stories we've heard over the past couple of years especially.
And I hate to say this, but a lot of them are avoidable. And one of the things that I've done with really trying to be a more responsible hiker when it comes to hiker safety is doing a lot of research myself, learning about search and rescue, talking to people that have actually been rescued, because, hindsight's always 20/20. So when you talk to somebody that has had to recover a dead hiker, so those are things that I think about, when I go into the backcountry, especially when I go by myself. I know we got really deep there real early.
We did. We're hot. I guess we can go right into what are some steps, since we did talk about all these dangers, for somebody that's watching, what are the steps you can take before you set off on a hike, a backpacking trip that will keep you safe and, hopefully mitigate any dangers that might be present out there?
Well, the number one thing you could do, and it is the first leave no trace principle, which is plan ahead and prepare.
Yeah.
And one of the fun things about getting ready to go on, whether it's a day hike, a section hike, or a long distance hike, or an FKT, you're going to plan. You're going to have all those maps out. You're going to study where you're going. I cannot emphasize this enough. Yes, please have a paper map. And one of the number one reasons that you need to have a paper map is you need to know your exit routes. A lot of times with a good old-fashioned paper map, it will show you various exit routes from trails. Not saying anything against Far Out or a digital style map or an app on your phone, but a lot of times those may not show exit routes and you may lose service or battery. Yeah. So plan ahead and prepare, do your research. Do I need to carry a bear canister in that area, if I am going overnight? And I guess the next thing for me is have a plan A, which is your ultimate goal. Have a plan B in case something happens and you get sideswiped, and have a plan C. Have various plans and be adaptable when you are out on trail. And another thing I want to say too is let somebody know where you're going. And give them a time frame. part of that plan ahead and prepare is carrying the 10 essentials.
For those that don't know, what are the 10 essentials?
So the 10 essentials, there are several lists out there. There was this group out in Washington called the Mountaineers, and it is a huge mountaineering organization. And they actually crafted and designed and patented, I guess, the 10 essentials. So I was like, well, guess what? That's who I'm going to follow. I mean, if mountaineers that have been doing this since the 1930s have really put an essential list together, that's kind of what I'm going to follow. Is they say, ask yourself 2 questions. And the first question is, when you're out, can you prevent an emergency and respond positively if one should occur? And then the second question is, can you safely spend a night, or if you had to, more outside?
Okay.
And then these 10 essentials are based on those 2 questions. This is what, they stand by, and it's mountaineers.org. And the first thing is a paper map. You can also have a digital map, a compass, and some sort of GPS, whether it's a Spot, a Garmin InReach, and the paper map is essential. And and there's always, and I should say this as a caveat, there's always going to be somebody that says, well, you could carry all that stuff if you want to, but if you don't know how to use it, well, that's right. You can carry all this stuff if you want to, but the key is knowing how to use it in that situation. So, one of the things to carry is a compass. So the second one is a headlamp. The third is some type of fire starter, sun protection, a first aid kit, a knife, some form of shelter. If you're out for a day hike, it's probably going to be a bivvy of some sort, or an emergency blanket, extra food, extra water, extra clothing. So these are some additional things that I think about. Everybody's going to have their phone, some type of external battery. I mean, I don't know any hiker that's going to go out these days. I even take one on a day hike.
Yeah, same. I take one when I'm going out to the store.
Yeah. Electrolytes, some type of electrolyte to throw in your water. Here's one where the hiking community boos me all the time is always carry my rain gear.
Yes.
So rain jacket and rain pants, because those rain pants become a warm layer.
So I guess now that we're kind of getting into the actual hike, when you're out there, what can you actively do as you're hiking to generally stay safe in the outdoors?
I think I do this inherently now, and you probably do this as well, is I'm constantly assessing. Every mile or 2, I'm constantly assessing. Make sure I eat enough, make sure you have enough food, make sure you're drinking enough, make sure, you keep your one most powerful tool that you have coherent. That's your mind.
I noticed something on your Instagram talking about a Backpacker magazine article. I think the title was How Essential Are the 10 Essentials? I guess give us first a basic idea of what the article was about, and then your response to it.
It's been maybe a month or 6 weeks. There was an article that came out in Backpacker magazine, and the title itself, the 10 essentials, are they really that essential? And there was a question mark. There was a survey done with over 900 hikers on Mount Monadnock, and the conclusion was, I think they said 4, really you need about 4 out of the 10 essentials, but always bring your phone. The gentleman, he was actually a doctor that was doing this test or this survey. The hikers that did it, he would give them at the end of the hike, he gave them a granola bar.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, maybe I threw that off because the hikers were hungry. And I was like, wait, what? And I started diving more into the data within the article. So if you look at the data within the article, he was just giving you the results of his data. He didn't interview anybody that was a search and rescue. They were all day hikers. And the average person that went up, I'm assuming it didn't even say, I'm assuming they went up to Mount Monadnock and came back down and gave him, some stats. The most they were carrying were 5 out of the 10 essentials anyway. Mm-hmm. So based on the data of the article, the title of the article had nothing to do with the data of the article. Mm. So, I got mad. And I was like, how can a company how could Backpacker Magazine put something out like this? I actually sent a message to a lady who is on a search and rescue team. She is on the Haywood County Search and Rescue Team. Her name is Nancy East. And she actually wrote a rebuttal article.
That's cool.
Yeah, so there's actually 2 articles out there now. And if you don't mind, I would actually, so the first one came out on February 25th, which was relatively quickly after the Backpacker Magazine article came out from the Friends of Yosemite Search and Rescue.
Wow.
And they actually reached out to the doctor that did this survey. And if you don't mind, I want to read something because I think this is, it's pretty vital. So this is the Yosemite Search and Rescue. So part of their article says the limitations of this study's scope and general application are obvious. Add to that the actual conclusion of the study, carrying more items did not translate to improved satisfaction for day hikers, but was associated with fewer events for which the hiker was unprepared. Other than adverse events related to hunger, thirst, or weather and minor medical events, adverse events were unlikely during this day hike. I would like to read what Nancy East wrote. And her title of her article is Backpacker Magazine's Misleading Article. So I assumed the article, the title was clickbait, luring readers into an ad-lidden webpage that ultimately validated what I know to be true as a SAR team member. The 10 essentials and certain learned skills can and do save lives in the backcountry. The article's title, however, was not clickbait. What it proposes is the message it delivers, and it's a dangerous one, especially for novice hikers who may buy into this notion that things like fire, starting materials, rain protection, and a headlamp aren't all that important on the warmer sunny days than they are on a short, easy hike. While I appreciate the article stating the limitations and flaws of this study, I hardly consider it a credible study. And while I understand the curiosity behind investigating whether the 10 essentials have a reliable record of saving lives, the article misses the point completely. And then she goes on to, further stress the point of the 10 essentials. Yeah, the Friends of Yosemite Search and Rescue, here's the title of their rebuttal article, which I love. The 10 essentials are still essential, and so are responsible headlines. So the bottom line is that Backpacker Magazine article, very irresponsible headline, period.
I can't believe it. I will definitely link those below for anyone who's interested. I will probably not link the Backpacker Magazine article, but I will.
No, let's not give them any more.
Also, I did want to move on from that. We can probably talk about that for the rest of this time. I'm going to pivot here, talk about the Fowler-O'Sullivan Foundation, and I just want to ask you about that and just give us an overview of the work they do.
So the Fowler-O'Sullivan Foundation sadly started because, and it's named after 2 missing hikers, Chris Sherpa Fowler and David O'Sullivan, who are still missing on the Pacific Crest Trail. Chris's mother is a very close family friend of mine now. She is very good friends with my younger sister. So because of my younger sister, I've been able to meet her. She's actually been on the podcast. Foundation started to assist families of missing hikers. And what that means is they will actually step in and advocate for the families. Right now, they have several, you can go on their website, and they have several cases that they're actually working on, and they have found several hikers.
Really?
So not only do they assist families in doing that, but they also do preventative education. And they started a Garmin InReach giveaway program. This year, they gave away 10 Garmin InReach minis to PCT hikers in honor of either hikers that have gone missing and have been found or are still missing.
Wow.
And one of the things that I did through hiker safety is I sold these pins, hiker safety pins, and we raised $500, and we were able to donate that money to the Fowler-O'Sullivan Foundation. And we were able to, contribute to giving away 1 Garmin InReach Mini and service for 7 months in honor of an East Coast hiker, Geraldine Largay. So it was awesome that the foundation did that. So it's a young foundation. And when I mean young, they're only in their 2nd year, but they're already doing phenomenal work.
there. And that's just hikers helping hikers right there. So I guess I want to ask, how can people follow your work and anything like the work you do for the hiking community on Instagram or even Facebook?
So probably the best place to go is on Instagram. I've got 2 accounts. Jester Section Hiker is my main account. And then the Hiker Safety is at Hiker Safety. But I also have a lot of information on hikersafety.org. I've got a ton of articles out there.
And I'll have that linked below as well. A lot of things for y'all to read. If you want to see Jester back on the channel.
Let's do fire.
A fire emoji, yes. Let's do a fire emoji if you want to see Jester back on the channel. I know we'll get a lot of those. Well, thank you so much, Jester. It's been great talking to you. And is there anything else, any last words you want to say to the Terra Treks YouTube community?
Yeah, I just want to say, despite all of this, the number one thing is have fun out there. Have fun and enjoy your hiking, your trekking, your FKTs, whatever you're doing. And if you plan ahead and prepare, you got nothing to worry about.
Yeah. I love that. Well, thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to having you back because I'm already planning on that.
All those fire emojis are going right now.
All right, Jester. It was nice talking.
All right. Take care.